Welcome back to my flat, where I've managed to collect and look after over 300 houseplants. Across the series, I'll be sharing all the tips and tricks I've learnt along the way to help you create your very own indoor oasis. A lot of the popular houseplants we see are actually tropical plants that would grow in very different conditions naturally to that of a UK home environment. And although a lot of plants are very adaptable and can learn to survive in our conditions, there are some things you can do to help keep them extra happy. So in today's episode, I'm going to take you through some of my favourite houseplant tools and accessories to help your houseplants thrive. So the first thing is a humidifier, and obviously you don't need anything as big and bulky as mine. Mine is supporting a lot of plants. But typically I like to try and keep the humidity in my home around 60% if I possibly can, just because things like central heating really dry the air in our homes out. It can lead to lots of issues with houseplants such as browning leaves, cracked tips, things like that. So yeah, I will typically run my humidifier for a couple of hours every day. The thing with humidifiers to make sure is just that you've got good airflow so that you don't get patches of damp buildup and it can circulate nicely throughout your home. And to monitor this, I use a little meter like this, and I can just see what's going on in my room at all times. Something I use for a lot of my climbing plants is moss poles, and not only does it act as a support and keeps the plant upright, but if you look at the back here, you can see lots of its roots have kind of branched out and formed their own root system in the moss pole, so they can absorb lots of micronutrients, allowing the plant to grow bigger and stronger. And this section here, I haven't extended the moss pole yet, and you can see there's lots and lots of aerial roots just looking for something to climb and hold them up. A houseplant accessory that you'll probably see quite a lot of around my flat are grow lights. And grow lights essentially allow you to replicate sunlight in even the darkest corners of your home, meaning that you can grow a beautiful array of tropical plants in areas that otherwise you might not be able to. And if you're not quite sure about positioning your grow light and you don't know how close to put it to your plants, you can use something called a light meter to check. And this is a plant, for example, that likes bright indirect light, and the reading is indicating that it's getting just that. And if you're not quite sure, you can very easily look up the readings online. Something that's made my life so much easier is discovering semi-hydroponic growing, and that basically is just growing in a substrate that's not soil and not even organic matter. So this here, for example, is clay pebbles, pumice and lava rock. And as you can see, I'm growing this in a no drainage vessel with just a little reservoir of water at the bottom, and that will essentially feed up through the substrate, and the roots of the plants can just feed on what they need. And this is a genus of plant called Alocasia, and previously I actually really struggled with Alocasia when I was growing it in soil, but since transferring it from soil to semi-hydro, it's one of my easiest and lowest maintenance plants. You might be wondering what these are, and this is actually a form of biological pest control commonly known as predatory mites, and basically it's just a natural alternative to chemical pesticides, which personally I much prefer using on my houseplants if I possibly can. And these ones you just place onto your plants. They don't do any damage at all, they stay very much on your plants, and these ones are used to tackle the common houseplant pest thrips. I'm actually currently preparing to move, so that'll mean taking all of my 300 houseplants to my brand new home. But join me as the series continues, as I'll be showing you how to acclimate your plants to a new environment and style them in a new space.